Hello there, this is What If Unknown. Now I'm doing part 4 of What If Naruto was raised by an unknown tailed beast. Now, let's do a quick recap of to where Naruto protected Konan from basically getting not so good things done to her by some Miss Ninja. That she was out she was out to take out the bounty out on the Miss Ninja's head, where Naruto basically in the end saved her. And in doing so, he also marked her. So, now let's get into the current situation. As we see Konan fading in and out of consciousness, as this is one due to the shock of what just happened, or the realization of what just happened to her, or was maybe about to happen to her. But luckily Naruto saved her. And as well as Naruto's mark soothing her, as making her kind of go to sleep. As Naruto lays her down on his tails, as then the 12 Tails says, I could sense some chakra signatures ahead, and I could tell through this young girl's, you could say, chakra signature, she could sense, or the 12 Tails could sense the signatures that this girl's came in contact. As the 12 Tails tells Naruto that these two signatures are the people that she's been with most recent and is the closest to, you could say. As Naruto says, I see. As he begins to walk towards those chakra signatures. As then Naruto is releasing a great amount of killing intent. Now, this killing intent to anybody that is not marked by Naruto will feel the great immense bloodlust, you could say. But to Konan, or to anybody that Naruto marks, it's almost like it basically comforts them. As Konan actually is sleeping more peacefully than she was before, as she's sleeping on Naruto's tails, as Naruto begins to just continue walking. As then we cut to two people in a hideout. We see a red-haired man with rippled patterns as eyes, and a dark-haired colored man with red eyes with 3 tomoe. As the red-haired man goes, Itachi, what is taking Konan so long? I'm getting worried. It shouldn't have taken this long for this mission. As Itachi replies to the red-haired man, yes, Nagato, I see. I don't know why it's taking forever. It's taking as long as it should. We should go check out and see what's going on and see if she's okay. As then all of a sudden, immense killing intent, or bloodlust, was sensed as Nagato says, let's go, Itachi. As he's rushing towards where the bloodlust is coming toward too. As then the 12 Tails says, Naruto, they're coming. As Naruto says, I see. As Konan is waking up slowly, as she feels the soft tails that she is laying on, as she notices the fur, as then she starts getting up, as Naruto says, I see, little angel. You're awake, huh? As then she sees the masked man, as then she kind of gets scared a little bit, but then realizes that he saved her, as he says, it's okay. Don't worry. You're okay. Also, your friends appear to be coming. As then he lets Konan get up from his tails. As then he says, Miss Angel, for helping me with, you could say, the rogue mist ninja, that it was causing you trouble. Here's double of what he's worth. As then Konan says, why so much? As Naruto says, no worries. But also, it appears your friends, like I said, are coming. As I must go. So we'll see each other again maybe sometime. As Konan says, wait, who are you? As then Naruto he takes off his mask fully. As then Konan sees a man, or a young boy, around her age, with wolf ears and a tail with these two eyes. They almost pierce inside your soul, you could say. One is yellow and one is blue. As then she's just mesmerized by it. As Naruto smiles and says, "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, or the White Wolf of the Mist. I hope we could see each other again sometime." As she could see lightning starting to come off of Naruto, and then all of a sudden, loud, or you just see a thunder strike go down on Naruto, and he disappears. As Konan says, she's just speechless, so she's just standing there. As then all of a sudden, Nagato appears. As we cut to Nagato right before this happened, as then he sees or senses a large amount of chakra getting built up. As then he's running faster, and all of a sudden he hears the trademark of the White Wolf. As then all of a sudden he hears it, almost like a thunder strike. As then he says, "What is the White Wolf of the Mist doing here?" As then he makes, as Nagato and Itachi go at great speeds and then appear next to Konan. As Konan still is kind of mesmerized by this at this moment. As then Nagato says, "Are you okay, Konan?" As she smiles and says, "Yeah, I'm okay." As Nagato says, "I see. We best get back to the hideout for debriefing." As Konan says, "Okay, very well." As then we reach the hideout. As Konan is debriefing Nagato what's going on about how the White Wolf, or as she was trying to capture the man, or the Mist Ninja that had the bounty on his head, she slipped up and messed up as the Mist Ninja pinned her down to the ground and was about to do unspeakable things, you could say, to me. But then you could see the rage building up on Nagato's face. As then Konan says, "But luckily, the White Wolf of the Mist came. It appears he was going after the same target." I also heard him say about how his little sister would not be happy about this. And also, for some reason, the Mist Ninja, the rogue one, he was pleading for the White Wolf of the Mist to close his book. And I don't know why. As Nagato says, "I see." But then, after the man, or the White Wolf of the Mist, took care of the old man, I kind of went in shock. But then, all of a sudden, the man, or the White Wolf of the Mist, hugged me, comforting me, making sure I was okay. But all of a sudden, you could say I kind of felt like a bite mark in my neck. As Nagato says, "Huh? What do you mean?" As Nagato notices this mark that's impeding on her neck, or starting to go down, as you can see a little bit of a mark. As Nagato says, "Konan, if you don't mind, will you please go over to that mirror, and would you mind showing me your back really quick? Please, indulge my curiosity." As Konan says, "Oh, okay," as she goes. As she shows her back to Nagato, and it's aiming towards a mirror so she could see as well. As we see a mark of 12-tailed wolf on the back of her. It is taking up almost all of her back. As she thinks, Konan says, "It's kind of cool. And it seems, not gonna lie, I kind of have a crush, you could say, on him. He's kind of cute." As Nagato says, "Oh? Do you think he'd like me? He's kind of cute, As Nagato says, "From the looks of it, the White Wolf of the Mist really likes you." As Konan says, "What do you mean?" As Nagato kind of chuckles, and Itachi. As he says, "Well, you see there, that mark. Do you know what it is, Konan?" As Konan says, "No, I don't." As Nagato says, "Oh, well, you see that mark. It's the mark of the mate, you could say." She says, "What do you mean?" "Well, you see, you know how you like him? It apparently is very apparent that the White Wolf of the Mist very likes you. Very much likes you, you could say. You see, the mark, depending on how big it is, shows the emotion or less that you feel, or caring as well, for the person that he marked. And by the size of that mark, he cares for you very dearly, and you are his now. Konan says, what do you mean? Well, you see, that mark is basically saying that you are his property now. You are his mate. No one shall touch you, kind of thing. As Konan kind of giggles. Cool. As then Nagato says, what? As she says nothing. As Konan says, oh yeah, he was also reading a book. Yeah, it was orange with weird markings. As Itachi's ears perk up, as his eyes light up as well with life. As then he goes, oh, Konan, by any chance, is it this book? As then he whips out Make Out Paradise. As then she says, yeah, it's exactly that book. As Itachi thinks, oh, White Wolf of the Mist, you're a man of culture. I'm so proud. As he kind of starts tearing up, as he says, hey, Konan, I got a question for you. Would you like to get closer or have more in common with the White Wolf of the Mist? As Konan says, oh, really? Yeah, I'd love to. As Itachi walks towards Konan, as he kind of gets a little bit closer, as he says, here, read this book. As Nagato says, what are you doing? She's not old enough to read those books. Those are indecent books for her age. That, as Itachi just goes, whispers to Konan, this will be enjoy the book. As then he disappears and crows as he's laughing, as Nagato says, Itachi! As then he starts going towards Konan. Nagato does, as he says, Konan, now please, hand me that book. A lady like yourself should not be reading that sort of smut. As then, right before Nagato tries to grab the book, Konan disappears in paper into her bedroom, making it so Nagato couldn't find her. As then, Nagato says, Itachi, I'll make you pay. As then, we cut to Konan giggling, saying, oh, this is kind of stuff that the White Wolf of the Mist likes, huh? Interesting. As then we cut to Naruto. Now Naruto is walking towards the Cloud Village, as he has been given a mission from his little sis, or the Mizukage, to give this scroll of, you could say, hopefully a treaty later on, or a ceasefire, to make sure nobody does anything to attack her village. As Naruto goes and hands the scroll to the Raikage, as Raikage says thank you. As then, as Naruto is walking from the Raikage's mansion, or his office, he senses 3 chakras, and then as well as he senses this weird emotion. He feels sadness, and for some reason, the sadness that it's coming from, the person that it's coming from, Naruto has a weird feeling that he needs to protect her, go find her. The way you can sense that it is her because of the emotion and due to Ez Death's power. 1 second. Okay. Anyway. Sorry about that. And then he quickly rushes to the area where he senses the sadness and scared and fear. As he sees 3 boys, or 2 boys actually. They look familiar for some reason. As he sees these 2 boys hitting and beating on this little girl with blue ears and a blue tail with weird markings. As then Naruto notices those 2 boys, he's seen him before, as he gets a flashback about in the leaf of those 2 boys beating on the Nine-Tailed Shinchuriki. As then he gets a weird aura around him as he says, so you guys did not learn your lesson the last time you guys were doing this such thing. You know, the Raikage is very overprotective over his Jinchuriki. And he has given me permission, if anybody to hurt a Jinchuriki, to injure them very badly. So, you have basically gained an issue here. As then one of the boys notices he recognizes the voice from when they are time the leaf. Now, these boys, they were banished from the leaf, if you do not know. Anyway, let's go back. As then one of the boys says, no, it's you. What are you doing in the cloud? As Naruto says, it's none of your business. As then the boy, one of them kicked Yugito, the Two-Tails Jinchuriki. As then he also, all of a sudden, had a realization of whose voice that was. Then he slowly turns, and is basically shivering in fear. He says, I apologize. I didn't mean to. I didn't know. Naruto says, oh? You didn't know that she was a Jinchuriki? Well, it's pretty apparent for, you see, tailed beast containers to control or contain, you could say, tails on the back. So, it's pretty obvious. As then, Naruto goes, well, I guess you didn't learn your lesson from the last time. As then, little spear of lightning comes out of his finger, and he flicks it towards those people, as it fried him almost to death. Now you see, Naruto didn't kill them yet. As then, he made a promise to the Raikage that he wouldn't kill him. But, yeah. As then he made it look like the other people that were beating on her kind of did that to the boy. As then, then all of a sudden villagers appeared found these kids beaten up. As then they were wondering what happened to them, as in it made it look like they thought it was one of the other boys. As they were walking with the boys in harm to go to the hospital, it was like a domino effect. Somebody tripped and hit one of the other people that were carrying the children. As then all of a sudden they fell, and their injuries, the children's injuries, were so bad to the point to where if they fell to the ground, they would die. And well, by unfortunate events, they passed away. As then we cut to Naruto taking care of Yugito. He's bandaging her up, making sure she's okay. As then he takes her to the Raikage, As then he bandaged her up, like I said. As then he starts walking back to the mist. Now Naruto has been traveling for about a day. As then he takes off his mask, and then stretches and yawns. That was a long day. As then he looks behind him. As then he sees Yugito. As he says, when I called you a kitten back then, I didn't think you would follow me. Now you're a stray kitten. As he kind of chuckles. As then Yugito says, oh, but I'm gonna follow you wherever. As Naruto says, no. How long have you been following me for? As Yugito says, well, for about a day since you left the cloud. As Naruto says, he's kind of shocked. Why is she following me? As then he starts to build up electricity around him to teleport. As then Yugito jumps on his arm. As then as Naruto teleports to his little sis, or the Mizukage. As then he says, oh, hi May, or hi little sis. I came back from the mission of delivering the message to the to the Raikage. And she says, As Mei starts to look up, she says, "Oh, Naruto, who is that?" As Naruto looks by him, he's like, "Oh my god. You know, I thought you were a kid and I knew you were stray following me, but you didn't have to follow me back home." As then Yugito says, as she kind of stutters, as Naruto cuts her off and just sighs, "Whatever. Hey, little sis, can I keep the kitten?" As Mei says, "What are you talking about?" As Naruto says, "You know, the kitten, the two-tailed Shinchuriki that I brought back. Can I please keep her, please?" As he's giving her puppy dog eyes. Mei, the Mizukage, as she has a sweat drop, as she says, "Do you understand what you have done, Naruto?" As Naruto says, "What do you mean?" "You see, the stray followed me home. The stray kitten followed me home, so I don't... Can I please keep her? Please? I'll feed her." As Mei says, "She's the two-tailed Shinchuriki. This could start a war. You brought her to the mist." As then we cut to the cloud as the Raikage is freaking out, looking for Yugito. Where is his little girl? As he sees Yugito as his own daughter, you can see. As he's panicking, he doesn't know where she is. As then we cut back to Naruto saying, "Please, little sis, can I please keep her? I'll feed her and everything." As then Mei says, "Take her back to the cloud now, Naruto." As Naruto is kind of taken back by this, because he knows when his little sis doesn't call him Oni-chan or Big Brother, then he knows that he messed up. He says, "Fine," in defeat. As then Yugito is still grabbing onto Naruto's arm. As then he teleports back to the Raikage's office. As the Raikage is there, as he says, "Why is the White Wolf of the Mist back?" As he sees Yugito. As he says, "Oh, I found a stray. She followed me. She started following me back to the mist, and apparently when I teleported, she kind of latched onto me, and yeah." As the Raikage notices Yugito, her tail that she has is wrapped around Naruto's tail. As he goes, "Huh." As this whole time, Naruto is reading his Makeout Tactics book. As he's just reading, as he's saying this whole time. As he says, "By any chance, can I keep the kitten?" As the Raikage is confused. As he says, "What do you mean?" As Naruto says, "Oh, never mind." As then he kind of gets a pouty look on his face, but he's still reading. As then Yugito, as the Raikage calls over Yugito, says, as he motions her. As Yugito goes over reluctantly to her quote-unquote father, says, "What do you want?" As then the Raikage goes, "I have a question for you. Why are you so attached to him? Why are you so attached to this White Wolf of the Mist?" As then she starts poking her fingers together. As she, in a shy voice, says, yeah, you see," as she's blushing. As then the Raikage gets a realization, because in the past, the first time when she was 7, she told the Raikage that she marked somebody as a person that she would want to be with. As the Raikage says, "Did you mark?" As soon as before you could say even mark, Yugito puts her hand on his mouth and says, "Shh," and yes, blushing hardly. As the Raikage says, "I see." Huh. As this whole time, we cut to see Yugito, one of her tail, is still wrapped around Naruto's tail, as Naruto has not really noticed, you could say, about her tail being wrapped. As the Raikage says, "Ah, I see." As then the Raikage goes, "Hey, White Wolf of the Mist." As then Naruto looks up glances from his book, as he says, "I have a proposition for you and your Mizukage. would like to have a treaty, like a full-on, like, we are basically partners, you could say, as we protect each other. As Naruto says, huh? As then the Raikage says, oh, you can also take the Two-Tails Jinchuriki to the mist as well. As Naruto says, wait, as he closes his book so slightly more, wait, you mean I could keep the kitten? As the Raikage kind of chuckles and says, yes, you can keep the kitten. As Naruto during this time noticed Yugito's tail that was wrapped around him, as he picks Yugito up with his other tail, as he starts dancing, I have the kitten, I get to keep the kitten. As the Raikage says, hey, White Wolf, as he throws the scroll to Naruto, as he says, thank you. Naruto says, thank you, in a cheerful voice, as he says, no take-backs, as the Raikage says, huh? As then Naruto teleports back to the mist. As then Naruto's just dancing. As he says, I get to keep the kitten, I get to keep the kitten. As then Mei's just confused, as then she sees Yugito. As then she says, what? I told you to take her back. As then Naruto kind of laughs. He's like, what? He said I get to keep her. Oh, and here you go. As he chucks the scroll, or hands the scroll to Mei. As Mei's like confused. As then Naruto says, oh yeah, so we get to keep the Two-Tails or the kitten. And we also have an alliance. But I get to keep the kitten. As then Mei is like, what? Why didn't you lead with that? And wait, you went to take back the Two-Tails. But then you ended up getting a treaty with the Cloud. And you gained us the Two-Tails. As Naruto says, yeah, the Two-Tails or the kitten's mine. I get to keep her. As then Mei says, huh. Okay, how'd you even get the alliance between our two villages? As Naruto says, I don't know, but I get to keep the kitten, so I'm happy. As Yugito kind of laughs that she's okay with this because, you know, she has feeling towards Naruto. And then Mei says, fine. At least you gained something, more than one thing, I guess, for our village, but it's nice that we actually have an ally for once. Good work, Naruto. As Naruto says, thank you, big little sis. Thank you. Now me and the kitten are gonna go now. We're gonna go train. As that's where I'm gonna leave it off. I hope you all have a great day or night, depending on time zones.